Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. We are currently walking into Mercy Southwest for walking to the doors because I'm saying we, but I'm going to be having a procedure done called a cerclage to help us keep our baby going, huh? And we will explain more on it, but we're walking in now. So we are now in the lobby and we're waiting to go to registration to do our insurance and check in and all that stuff, because our procedure was scheduled yesterday in the evening, so it's not exactly, I guess it is considered like an emergency or urgent. Yeah, it's not like a complete emergency, but it is urgent. So yeah, so they wanted to do it today. So basically what we're having done is where they stitch, or they put like a band on your cervix. And so those of you who know like Giselle's story and have followed that know that we had a lot of problems with Giselle, and she came early. And so as of right now, my cervix is already starting to dilate, but from the inside, and last time it was from the outside, which I don't know what. At this point, I just have like a faulty cervix. So we're gonna go ahead and have this done, and they're gonna put a band that will stop the baby from coming early, hopefully. So this is like our best chance. And so basically, so we just don't have the same situation we have with Giselle. That's why we're doing this. And there's risks to doing this, but we're taking the risk now since it's so early, rather than waiting and having something negative happening. Because Giselle came at 28 weeks, so yeah. Oh, and they called it. Okay, so step one is done. We've registered with the hospital in admitting, and kind of went over all that and signed a bunch of forms. And now we are waiting in the outpatient lobby, which is just empty today because I guess they're closed for the holiday. So my procedure is the only one, which is good because I was afraid we'd be having to interact with like a bunch of people waiting. But it's just us, so it's kind of nice.
And everyone who knows how time works in the hospital when it comes to procedures, when they give you a time, if you're not the first patient on the schedule, there is zero guarantee that you will go at the assigned or scheduled time.
If you're not first, you're last. I'm like, quote, Ricky Bobby.
So while we wait, just to go over what a cerclage entails, they will be suturing Jennifer's cervix to help her pregnancy last at least until 37 weeks. 37 weeks gestation is considered a successful cerclage, and the success rate is roughly 80 to 90% for those planned cerclages. In an emergent situation where the baby is breaching and coming out sooner than later, cerclage's success rate drops down to about 40 to 50%. So the great thing is that this time around for this pregnancy versus when we had Giselle, is that this is being planned way ahead of time.
So this procedure was something that was talked about when we were pregnant with Giselle. However, when it was brought up, we were so much farther along.
We were at 20 weeks.
Yeah, or by the time they actually really considered it, we were like over. We were like 22, 20, like we were over.
Right.
So when it finally was like, no, we need to try it. However, at that point, it was such a greater risk because Giselle was already like breached, and then we had issues with the umbilical cord.
You were dilated
I
already.
was dilated
like
more.
3 or something
Yes.
centimeters.
So the physician, because at the time, my doctor was actually, she had went on vacation. And so when we came in, we just came in and saw the on-call doctor. And he wasn't, it's not that he wasn't sure about doing it. He knew the risk, and he was very clear. And so he didn't sound like, how do I say, like, he didn't seem,
He wasn't confident in the success.
Yeah, in the success of doing it. And so so we didn't do it, and it didn't really, at that point, because we were already so far along, that wouldn't have made a huge difference at that point. Like I said, we decided to do it this time around because we're so early. And at this point, I'm only dilated, like, I believe he said the specialist said like 1 centimeter. So, which is really good. And like I said, it's also dilating from the inside rather than the outside, which I don't know why, but
well, they also told you that baby is very big.
Yeah, like our baby's huge. And so and Giselle was so tiny, like, but this baby's huge, so they just, right now is just the best time to do it, to get it done, and that's why they're rushing it for today. They didn't want to wait any longer to make sure nothing else happens, and since our baby's already huge, they want to just get it done and get it over with and give us the best possible chance. And James did say like 37 weeks is like the best outcome, which is what we hope for. But realistically, my doctor is just, if we make it to 34, like, or 36, like, if we can just make it to 34 weeks, she's perfectly happy. If we have to deliver, if we have to, remove the stitch or the band or whatever it is, like, she's happy with that. She's comfortable with that. And so that would be our best scenario. And yeah, and that's what we're hoping for with this situation. Because we just cannot go through what we went through with Giselle again, and we're not willing to risk that. If this surgery can help, I mean, why not do it? But yeah, and we were confused though, because really, like, this whole time that we've been finding things out, I know we like, prior to this video, we haven't posted anything just because we wanted to make sure everything's okay, and wait to see the specialist and kind of just go from there before we start getting super excited and just, sharing it with everyone. And so that's kind of why, like, we're not hiding anything, but we didn't want to get anyone's hopes up, or have a million phone calls and then have some terrible news or something like that. And so but now that we've seen the specialist, now that we've had multiple scans, had multiple visits, that's why we're sharing this also, because there's not a lot of people. Like, I work in healthcare, but it's not like I knew or have been in or heard of like cerclages, that often. And James as well. Like, we work in different fields, so for us, this is something new.
Different specialties.
Yeah, we're gonna go through it, and so that's why we want to share it with you guys, in case anyone out there has had multiple miscarriages, just like I have, has had a premature baby, and is hoping for the best outcome. And so hopefully my experience can give you some hope and help you through your situation.
And then another thing to mention, Jennifer was squeezed in to see the specialist kind of like a day before the actual appointment. But I had to be on call for my department, so I put in the request to leave at a certain time to be able to witness the ultrasound and speak to the specialist alongside Jennifer. But our schedule was just so swamped. There was absolutely zero chance of me stepping away for a good hour and a half to 2 hours to be able to to make the appointment. So
we didn't record any of the high risk appointment for you guys. And I mean, really, we wanted to keep that personal, just like I said, in case something was wrong, in case there was something negative. You know, we just kind of wanted to keep that for ourselves, just in case, and then share afterwards what the experience was. But in the future, if we're able to, yeah, and it was last minute. They were trying to squeeze me in for like 2 weeks, and every day they were like, we'll get you, we're gonna call you tomorrow, we're gonna try to get you in, we're gonna, you know, blah blah blah. And then they called me like the evening before and like, hey, can you come tomorrow? Just like this, one of my appointments was yesterday, and they said, okay, we need to get this done, show up to the hospital tomorrow.
Unfortunately, for the way that my schedule works is when I do call and I carry the pager the day after the night of call, I'm able to have a day off. And that just helps us recuperate, because we start our days at 6 in the morning, and just like yesterday, I didn't get to leave the hospital until I think close to 11 p.m. And thank God that we didn't have any emergencies in the middle of the night, so I did get a little bit of sleep. And Jennifer didn't have to be interrupted with me coming and going in the middle of the night. So with that said, her specialist appointment went really well, despite despite having to have this done, this outpatient procedure. But another thing is that there's still a huge surprise that I have yet to be presented with.
Oh, so James still doesn't know actually no one knows what the sex of our baby is except for me and the specialist. And it's not that he doesn't want to know, it's just he does want to know. He's like dying to know, and I'm just like, what do you want? What do you think it is? But I wanted to do like a little reveal, and I really want to capture his reaction, just because this is our third baby. So, you know, I just want to see, like, he doesn't really care whether it's a boy or girl. He just wants healthy baby. But I just want to see his reaction, and I wanted to do it where like maybe he could like shoot at something and like some spray can come out. Maybe he could pop a balloon and confetti could come out. I don't know, but I want to have something just exciting for him, and so I'm going to be planning that, and that will be one of our videos. Disclaimer, probably now all of our videos are going to be baby related. So if that's a problem, yeah, I'm on decline. But more than likely, because we really want to just record our situation this third time around, especially from post Giselle situation. And something that we always look back on is you know, we could have recorded, I mean, we have tons of video that we can post about Giselle's situation, private moments. We could still post if, you know, if we felt like, if anybody wanted to just kind of see what we went through, because having a premature baby is an experience. It's a whole experience. It's completely different. Living at a hospital, living at like a Ronald McDonald house,
all the uncertainty,
yes,
all the fears and anxiety,
and then having another child at this,
a
we
very
had a
young
toddler.
baby at home.
Jackson was only like 1.5 when Giselle was actually born, so it was a lot. It was so overwhelming for both of us.
There were many trips to LA, Cedars, via helicopter, being transferred out of Bakersfield, because Jennifer's situation and Giselle's situation was so risky and dire, and it was very, very scary for the professionals here in town and the specialists here in town.
Like one of the reasons that we constantly kept having to be shipped to Cedars-Sinai was because the truth, the specialists here in town did not feel comfortable delivering, even themselves. Like, we wouldn't even have been delivered by our doctor. The specialist would have had to had to step in, and they didn't feel comfortable. They wanted us to have a higher level of care. They wanted fetal specialists, fetal cardiologists, you know, every specialist that we could see. They wanted us to have the best, which is great, because we did. And you know, but it was very hard. It's very hard having to like be separated, having to be on bed rest for so long, and then just like the normal stuff, you know, because James had to stop working. And it's not like, you know, like, yeah, you could stop working, but I mean, your bills don't stop, like your rent payments don't stop, your car payments don't stop, you know. And for James to like, he was like our you know, like he's like our breadwinner, is that what it's called? But like he's like our main source. We both
contribute very much.
But honestly, like James is our main source of income, and if he stops working, like he had to for months, and he did apply for like disability, but it's not like you snap your fingers and they're like, here's a check, you know, like those took weeks to happen. So that just even financially, it's very difficult.
Yeah, and aside from the money issue, that's the obvious. What not everyone will have to deal with is the fact that, you know, you have a toddler at home who is so attached to mommy, but mommy has to be away for days and weeks at a time. And that was not only hard for myself, but it was extremely difficult for Jennifer and Jackson.
Because at his age, he didn't understand why I had to be away. Like he couldn't, you know, he's only 1.5, so he didn't
at the time.
So he didn't quite understand what was the why do you have to stay in the
where's
hospital?
mommy going?
Yeah,
and why isn't she here? Why isn't she feeding me? And all that stuff.
Yeah. And now he's 4 years old. So since he's 4 now, he completely understands. Like I told him today, mommy has a procedure and daddy has to go with her, and we're gonna be at the hospital, but we're coming right back. We're gonna be home. You know, it's not like we're gonna be gone for days or you know, whatever. And he understood. And so, you know, it was easier for him to process. And oh, they're calling us.
All right. And at this point, our babies are at home. Special thank you to my mother-in-law, Lily, and father-in-law, George, and my cousin-in-law, Jessica, for watching our babies and spending time with them and keeping them occupied and loving them, which allows me to be here for Jennifer.
So we're just in the pre-op room, waiting. Everything's done. We spoke with the anesthesiologist and the nurses. They did the IV and got me like ready. And now we're just waiting for my doctor to come because she'll have to just go over everything one more time before they take me back. So we're just waiting. It's so quiet since we're the only ones here. So I can't wait to eat until like this. I'm starving. And I ate like just yesterday. Daddy said, can you say that again? Because he's recording. You're saying
everything's gonna be okay.
Everything's gonna be okay.
Yeah,
That's
Hi,
good.
Daddy, what are you doing?
I'm recording your beautiful voice, handsome.
Yeah.
That was so sweet that you said that to
No,
me.
I said, what are you wearing?
Oh, I'm wearing a t-shirt.
No, that.
Oh, this one's a bracelet. It's a bracelet. Oh, this one, it's my eyebrow.
Tell mommy everything's gonna be okay. Tell her it's gonna be okay, mommy.
I love you, baby girl.
I love you too. Say I love you too, mommy. Tell daddy and mommy I love you.
I love you, Mommy.
I love you, baby girl.
I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you.
I love you guys. You hear that?
Mm-hmm.
I Okay, enjoy your lunch. Have fun. Be good babies, okay?
Okay. They're gonna take you back in a minute?
We're just waiting for the doctor to come, because she has to talk to us again, and then I'll go back.
Okay. All right. Well, good luck,
Thank you.
guys.
Love you too. We'll talk to you
Bye.
later. Okay, bye.
Say bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Love you.
I love you too. Okay. Bye.
Okay, bye.
My hands are probably colder than yours. It's like, now I know what my patients and family go through. My hands are freezing.
I know, that's what I always tell them. I'm like, sorry, because I'm putting leads and stuff in my hands are
Oh
freezing.
yeah, most definitely. And the chlor prep doesn't help.
I know.
All right, we'll see you guys. Thank you so much. Bye, babe. Love you. Thank you. Thank you.
So good.
You didn't have breakfast and you didn't have lunch.
Starving.
How about the baby?
Oh, baby's doing good. Hey guys, so it's actually been about 2 weeks since the cerclage was done, and everything is pretty much going well. I feel really good. I do feel a little bit of pressure, which my doctor said is normal. But overall, the cerclage itself is holding. The only thing I did want to share was when I was told about having the cerclage done and like the procedure of it and just everything it entailed, I wasn't like, I didn't experience it before, obviously. So my doctor closed me on the idea that it's gonna be in and out, you'll go home the same day, you know, you'll be able to walk out of the hospital and this and that. So for me personally, that, yes, I left the same night, but it was so much more than just in and out procedure. During the procedure, I could still feel like my lower half, so they ended up having to wait a little bit longer to make sure that I was completely numb from the spinal. So that took longer, and had that not have happened, like had I not become numb to sensation, then they would have had to put me under like general anesthesia, which I didn't want to do. So just waiting it out helped, but that took more time. And then in the recovery, I was beyond numb. Like, they had said, oh, 2 to 3 hours, you'll start feeling your legs, you'll have feeling in your legs, you'll be able to use the restroom. Literally, probably about 6 to 7 hours later, I could feel my legs, but I honestly went home with my butt still numb, my hips still like numb, tingly numb, like I didn't have full sensation, but my legs were working, so I was able to like get up, and of course the nurse and James helped me, you know, get dressed and kind of all of that. Basically, I was in a lot of, not pain, but I had a lot of like pressure pain, like in my pelvic area, that was so uncomfortable, and I did need to take like pain medicine, at least to help me sleep. And that was like for the first full night. I ended up waking up to take pain medicine because I just felt so much pressure, which is normal after having that surgery. And then the following day, I really just relied on rest. And thank God my manager knew what I needed before I even asked him. Like, he is so amazing. Obviously took me off for the surgery, and I was like, oh yeah, it's gonna be an in and out procedure just like my doctor said, and he already knew no. So he took me off the following day just so I could be home and resting, and it made such a difference. I needed to rest the following day because it was just so, I was so exhausted. And then I did work, it was a Friday, a Saturday, and then I did work the Sunday. But the Sunday that I worked, I honestly just did like light duty, like things in the office, and that made the difference. And since then, I've mostly been like training new people, so I haven't really been having to push a lot of things around, carry a lot of things, and I haven't been having to be too exposed to our COVID patients. So that has made a huge difference in my recovery. And so as of right now, I do feel really good. Like I said, I do just have like pressure, especially if I do a lot of walking. But I'm trying to avoid that, and like picking up my kids, which totally sucks because I pick them up all day. Like, I hang out with them. I mean, we do stuff all day, and I'm trying to be active with them, but of course I can't right now. So we just manage, like if they want me to hold them, I just sit down on the couch or on the bed or in the rocker, and then they come to me. And so that, like, we've made an arrangement, like that kind of works out for us. That way they don't feel like I don't want to pick them up, and of course I want to pick them up. But that makes a difference too, especially if you have like the young toddlers that, you know, need a little extra attention sometimes. But like I said, everything right now is going well, and I'm so happy that we actually did this procedure. I was on the fence, but I'm so glad that we did it. I think that this is what is really making the difference. And so definitely I'll follow up. I do have to see the high-risk specialist in about 4 weeks, and so hopefully then we'll kind of see where the cervix is at, because it's measured every time, and go from there. And yeah, so again, thank you everyone for watching this video and subscribing to our channel. We really appreciate it. And if any of you are actually going to have this procedure, I really hope this information has helped you guys. If it didn't, I'm so sorry. And of course, everyone's experience is different. This was just my experience that I wanted to share. Like I said, I hope that if you do go through this, I wish you the best of luck, and you know, for a safe recovery, and hopefully you know, everything's okay with you and your baby.